What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And in this video, I'm going to give you the newest information about what is going on with the second stimulus check and the unemployment extension benefits. We're going to jump right into the first segment is what President Donald Trump and Joe Biden said last night about the stimulus check that needs to come out now. Let me show you exactly what they're saying. But first, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe down below if you haven't yet. This way you won't miss out on new videos coming out.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work, and as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House, because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President.
The Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
Let me follow up with you, Vice President
If we made a
Biden,
deal,
because let me ask Vice President Biden a question. You are the leader of the Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Well, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets and states that have to balance their budgets, so they then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they can keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have not done a thing for them. And Mitch MCConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt. Come on. What's the matter with these guys?
The bill that was passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high-crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these states. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally. We were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love to help them, but what that does, everybody all over the world will start pouring into our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking care of them. This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right,
If I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And folks, every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
Okay, so several things there. President Donald Trump says that the Democrats want in this bill, they want bailout money for Democratic states and cities, and also checks and money for what they would call illegal aliens. Those are people that don't have Social Security numbers and have an ITIN number, and what the Republicans call illegal aliens. The Democrats do want money for that, and of course we know the Democrats want a large amount of money for states and cities, of which President Donald Trump says are all badly run Democratic states. Joe Biden says that states shouldn't be red or blue, and then basically we should just help any states out that are in need during this crisis. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because I could definitely see both points of views. Also, it was interesting how President Donald Trump, literally the first thing out of his mouth was blaming Nancy Pelosi that she doesn't want to make a deal and wants to wait till after the election to get a deal done. It was literally the first thing out of his mouth when she asked him why they haven't passed more stimulus. As you've seen, that he said they have passed 3 stimulus packages. It's actually 4 stimulus packages that they have passed through this entirety. One had stimulus checks. We had one that had unemployment. We had the presidential executive order, which was unemployment. And then we had other ones in there that had money for different programs and PPP money for small businesses. So they have passed several bills. But the question is, will they be able to pass this next stimulus check and the next stimulus package before the election? In this current package that they're working on right now is a stimulus check of at least $1,200. The president said it could be more, and there will be a check for all dependents this time around. The president said that that also could be more. The previous check for dependents was $500, and a lot of people missed out on it. This time, there will be a check for all dependents, and it could be higher than $500. There's also going to be an unemployment extension update in the next stimulus package of probably at least $400. That is what the Republicans' offer was previously. The Democrats want $600, so it could be $400, it could be $500. We don't know the full details on that yet. There's also provisions in there for a $10,000 student loan forgiveness and also money for mortgage and rental assistance. I will be giving you guys more details on all of those different packages in upcoming videos. So the question is, will they be able to get this passed right before the election, or will it have to be right after the election? President Donald Trump said he's willing to pass it either before the election or right after he's reelected. And Nancy Pelosi is the one holding it up. At least that's what President Donald Trump says. So where does that leave us with Nancy Pelosi, who is the House Speaker and the leader of the Democrats? And of course, you've seen the interviewer there ask Joe Biden why he hasn't stepped in for the Democrats and done any negotiations. As far as I know, Joe Biden hasn't done anything with the stimulus check negotiations over the last several months at all. Now, granted, he's not in Congress, but President Trump's not in Congress either, but President Trump is the president. Joe Biden doesn't really have a title right now besides a former vice president, but it will be interesting to see what happens going forward. But let me get back to Nancy Pelosi. As you can see here, Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "We have come to terms on the stimulus checks and healthcare differences, but a few differences remain on state and local and liability protections." Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "I think we're just about there," when speaking about the testing, tracing, and healthcare provisions, which until recently had been a major stumbling block in negotiations. On the provision of another round of direct payments to individuals, aka stimulus checks, Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "We've come, I think, to terms on that issue also." Basically, if you can decipher between all the interviews that Nancy Pelosi has been giving pretty frequently at this point, everything seems very optimistic, and she's saying that they've made agreements on this, agreements on this, agreements on this. We're not quite there, I don't think, on the final agreement on the overall plan, but basically she's saying that they've already made agreements on this, 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 and this. So I think that they're almost there. Depends on what you consider her wording when she says that they've made agreements. I think they're still ironing out the details on the final agreement on the larger stimulus package, but they have agreed on several different provisions that were holding up the stimulus check and the stimulus package. We also seen President Donald Trump say in that interview from the presidential debate that he predicts that the Republicans will take over the U.S. House of Representatives and they will control the House, the Senate, and the presidency after the election. As you can see here on this screen, there's 435 voting members in the U.S. House of Representatives. It is controlled with the majority by the Democrats, who have 232 votes, or 232 Democrats in there right now, and the Republican Party has 197. So they would need to flip about 35 seats to take over the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. As you can see here, the U.S. Senate is currently controlled by the Republicans. There is 100 people in the U.S. Senate. There's currently 53 Republicans in the Senate and 45 Democrats, although there are 2 independents, which typically vote Democrats to make 47 Democrats. So they would need to flip only about 4 or 5 seats to get a Democratic majority in the Senate. Because, for example, if you flip 3 seats, the Republican Party goes down from 53 to 50, and the Democrats, including the independents, go from 47 up to 50. So they only need to flip about 4 seats, assuming that they get the independents to vote Democrat also. However, remember that the U.S. House of Representatives are up for votes or re-election every 2 years, and senators serve 6-year terms, and only about 1/3 of senators are up for re-election every 2 years. As you can see here, the Republicans are defending or up for re-election 23 seats in 2020, while the Democratic Party is only defending 12 seats right now. So the Republicans obviously have a lot more to lose, with twice as many people almost up for re-election, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Don't worry, I will keep you up to date with everything new regarding the stimulus checks, the unemployment extension updates, and new breaking information regarding the election as we get close now. We're only about 11 days away at this point. So make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't yet and click the like button for us. And also share this video on Facebook so that your friends and family will be up to date on the second stimulus check and related news. Thanks, guys, and you can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.